How's it going, everybody? It is Dennis, and we're back with another video. And today we're going to be talking about all my YieldMax ETF positions, everything that I'm holding, all the ETF from YieldMax that I'm holding, if I'm losing, if I'm winning, what my dividends are, and what my strategy is going further into this YieldMax ETFs. Once again, thank you everybody for the support for the last video. We did get a lot of hate comments, a lot of people giving their opinion. I fully love you guys giving your feedback. I love talking to you guys in the comments. Even if you guys disagree with me, I still will give my feedback and give my opinion to whatever your questions or whatever your takes are. I just like holding conversations, having discussions. But besides that, let's go ahead and get straight into it. Made a Google Sheet as always. Let's go ahead and take a look. Over here we have our ETFs. As you can see, I am holding TSLY, APLY, AMZY, GOOY, and YMAX, which is a new holding that I have invested into recently. Number of shares, 648 for TSLY, 116 for APLY, 197 for AMZY. For GOOY, it's 60. For YMAX, it's 20. As I said, new holding for YMAX. And the total amount of shares with all the YieldMax ETFs is 1,042.56. My average cost of shares, very important when it comes to these ETFs. For TSLY, it's $13.38. For APLY, it's $19.95. For AMZY, it's $20.39. GOOY is $18.31. And YMAX is $20.62. Of a total holding altogether of $16,540.76. As always, I love being transparent as possible, so I do have all my dividend income that I received for every single fund, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at that as we're going through the dividends earned. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and take a look at win and loss on shares without the dividends. So for TSLY, the big TSLY, which I made a video about last week, and a lot of people gave their opinion, and we had a discussion in the comments. With TSLY, a lot of people are selling off. Reverse splits happening this week, next week on the 26th. So what is my loss on TSLY? Well, without dividends, I have lost 32.01%, or $2,778.39. Now, with dividends earned, I have earned $1,694.30 so far on TSLY. If we look over to my dividends, you can see I have been earning dividends since June 15th of 2023. I have received so far 8 dividends payments so far. So I was not invested since the opening of the ETF, but I have been investing since June. Of course, I have been reinvesting it until February, which is where I changed my strategy to TSLY, where I am now taking the cash, straight cash from YieldMax ETF TSLY, and therefore that is why my strat at the moment is just holding, not reinvesting, but holding the shares I have and receiving the dividends from them. Now, with the dividends that I have earned, it has technically offset my losses by almost half of it, actually more than half, and my loss with dividends is $1,084.09, or 12.65% in the red, compared to the 32.01% in red if I did not add the dividends, if this was just a stock or ETF that did not have dividends. Luckily it does, and that offsets my losses, but there is still losses. Of course, everybody knows my opinion on this. I will continue to hold TSLY until this negative turns into a positive after year 1, year 2, depending where TSLY goes. Whatever your opinion is on TSLY, that is your opinion. Of course, we had that discussion in the last video, so I will not get too much into it. Moving on to APLY, we have 116.83 shares, like mentioned before, 19.95 average cost of shares. And my win-loss on the shares without dividends is negative 213.83, or negative 9.17%. Now, of course, being transparent as possible, the dividends I've received in total is 166.55 on APLY. As you can see, these are all the dividends I have received. I've been receiving dividends since September 18th of 2023, and it's not really a high-paying dividend ETF from TSLY. The highest I received was 62 and 30, and besides that, it's stayed mostly the same. Now, if we go over to how much that offset my losses, technically with the dividends, my loss is only $47.28, or negative 2.02%. Now, what is my strategy going in with APLY? Well, it is to reinvest the dividends and continue to grow my shares so I could continue to build up my portfolio in APLY and get more dividends with the coming months. With AMZY, AMZY, 197 shares, 2039 average cost of shares. And this is one of the YieldMax ETFs that I am up on. I am up 9.09% or $365.74. Of course, with dividends earned, I have earned $492.80 on AMZY, and these are all the dividends. AMZY does pay out more than APLY, but I do hold more shares in AMZY than I do hold APLY, so there is that to it as well. But I do receive higher dividends, as you can see, hundreds, 88, 71, 135 for the recent one, which I did take in cash. I did not take it in cash because I'm not planning to reinvest. As you can see, I am planning to reinvest for my strategy, but I just decided to take that cash out to go ahead and put into an option wheel strategy that I'm starting with a newer ETF, which takes more capital. So therefore, I took the cash from it. Now, with the dividends and the growth in my stock value or the NAV, my growth in AMZY is $858.54 or 21.34%. Pretty good AMZY. I do enjoy AMZY. That's why I'm reinvesting, of course. That's my strat for AMZY, as it is with all the ETFs on this chart, besides, of course, TSLY, which I'm just holding. Now we go on to GOOY, which I have a smaller position. It's the second to smallest position from my YieldMax ETFs. And I am trying to build this slowly but surely. But GOOY is a little bit low on the dividend payments. But anyways, it is still a good investment, I think, for the long term, just because of Google's, the underlying stock, ability to grow long term. Of course, 60 shares, $18.31 average cost of shares, and my loss is $72.32 or 6.58% in the negatives. My dividends received is not that much. Of course, I said low paying dividend ETF. So my dividends received or earned is $46.54. As you can see, I've only received 3 dividends so far. So hopefully it keeps growing as it has with this. But of course, I did add on shares, so this is a little bit skewed. And also, it hasn't been reinvested because for some reason they do not do partial shares or, quarterly or whatever. Partial shares for GOOY for some reason. No idea why, but that's why we're growing the position. So hopefully we can get full shares moving on. Now with the dividends reinvested, the dividends added on top of the loss of the NAV, my loss is negative $25.78 or negative 2.35%. And of course, my strat is to reinvest. Now, YMAX. So I invested into my YMAX the day of the X date for the dividend when the price tanked due to the dividend being paid out. And I bought 20 shares at $20.62. I am currently down negative 11.39 or negative 2.76%. Of course, not panicking. ETF's not going anywhere. Has multiple other ETFs in it. So it is has a quite variety of different ETFs. Is diversified. And of course, the S&P 500 itself is going down a tad bit. It did go up today because NVIDIA did release a good earnings report after the market closed. So we will see where YMAX goes with that news. Of course, since I invested after the ex-dividend date, I did not receive a dividend for this month. And I do not have a win-loss on shares with dividends since I did not receive any dividends. And of course, I am reinvesting my shares that I received from dividends back into YMAX because this is a diversified ETF, and I think it will be a pretty good ETF on YieldMax's side. I think this will be one of their popular ones, including YMAG. Of course, YMAX actually turned out to pay more than YMAX, so we'll see where that goes. Now, of course, my total shares is 1,042.56. My total amount invested is $16,540.76. I have lost so far $2,710.19, or roughly 16.38% of all my shares combined and everything like that. With all the shares combined, I've earned $2,400.19. And when you offset that with the loss without dividends, the loss with dividends is $298.61, or a mere negative 1.81%. Yes, negative 1.81%. So APLY, AMZY importantly, and GOOY are holding up TSLY so far on my own portfolio. That is why it's important to diversify, even in these ETFs themselves. That's why YMAX is a good position. But even if you do have YMAX, it's good to invest if you want to in these ETFs themselves. So AMZY holding up my portfolio. Thank you very much. What is my future opinion on this? What am I planning to do? Well, of course, you can see the strats on the right side. Holding TSLY, receiving the dividend payments. I'm going to be keep investing it into different securities. Be investing it into my option wheel strategy, which I'm growing and trying to outpace how much I have invested in my YieldMax strategy. At the moment, my YieldMax strategy is maybe around 25% of my portfolio. I'm trying to slowly size that down, keep each YieldMax ETF at roughly a 5% diversification on my portfolio. So going to be taking, the dividends receiving from TSLY and investing into option wheel strategy. Of course, maybe I'll switch it up to 50-50. That's also something I have had in mind, not only with TSLY, but with the other YieldMax ETFs, investing 50% back into the fund and 50% into cash, which then I could go ahead and take and use on my other strategies. My other strategies, well, we'll go ahead and go over that in the next video for next week, which will be going over all the income I have earned for the month of February. And it has been surprisingly pretty good. I did suggest in the previous overview of January that February might not be that good, but it's been doing pretty good. I've been receiving good premiums. My options have been going pretty good. I have not taken any losses for this month, which is always a plus. So at the moment, of course, February has not ended. I am at 100% profitable rate, no losses, no early takes, early closes, none of that sorts. We are currently doing 100% well on all our option strategies. So we'll see where that ends up on the end of February. We will see in the video what my earnings were for the end of February. Of course, with dividends, it will be a little bit low because TSLY paid out less, APLY paid out less, AMZY paid out more, and GOOY paid out more, but that's because I invested into them. And all my other ETFs that paid dividends also paid a little bit less in February. But that is, of course, the first quarter of the year, so it does make sense. But yes, that is my YieldMax portfolio. These are all my YieldMax ETFs, TSLY, APLY, AMZY, GOOY, and YMAX. MSFL will be coming back. Not anytime soon, maybe in quarter 2, quarter 3. They'll be coming back, so midsummer, maybe late summer. MSFL will be coming back, but at the moment, I'm okay with owning these 5 YieldMax ETFs. As always, I'm okay with owning TSLY. And of course, if you have any other opinions on my YieldMax ETFs that I'm holding, leave them in the comments. I love talking to you guys. If you guys check out the previous video, check out the comments there. I have had whole discussions with people in the comments, and I enjoy it. I enjoy talking to you guys. I enjoy discussing investments, even if it's not YieldMax ETFs. I do like talking about investments and investing in general. So that is me. That is Dennis. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching my videos, supporting, and hopefully we get to 500 subscribers with this video. We are very close. We are 1 subscriber off. Maybe we'll get there even before this video is uploaded. But anyways, thank you everybody so much for watching. Don't forget to commit tax fraud. I'm just joking. Don't do that. But thank you everybody so much for watching. That has been me. And I'll see you guys in the next video for next week, where we'll be reviewing all my income for the month of February. And that should be very interesting. Will we set new records? I don't know. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. Depends what trades I take this week. But anyways, see you guys in the next one.